for some reason.
The slightly contentious thing that you've done, which I find imaginative but right, is this fanfare in the middle. Tell us why you've put that in.
Well, it gradually became obvious to me in the 15 years I've been sort of peering at this that the whole thing was very angry and all the belligerent, warlike things in the Magnificat text are being emphasised enormously. He has shown strength with his arm, put down the mighty, sent the rich away, and all that kind of thing. And
that is something that composers tend to do.
But not to the extent of this one. It's absolutely unique in the intensity. You can feel the fury coming through.
But you've also, I mean, the Magnificat is called Magnificat. It's called the Magnificat with the "as he promised to our forefathers."
Right.
In other words, he's saying we've got this refrain, "as he promised to our forefathers."
Right.
Why does he do that?
Well, that refrain, "as he promised to our forefathers," at the beginning of the 10th verse, but it carries on, "Abraham and his seed forever." Now, if you've looked that text up, there it is in the Magnificat, quoted by the Virgin Mary. She's quoting her ancestor, Abraham. The promise from God to Abraham, the original covenant. Your seed shall be as the stars of the sky, the fishes in the sea, and then he goes on, you'll be my chosen people forever. Now, when the official Judaism rejected the Messiah, according to the Christian thing, that promise was taken over by Christianity. So they were the chosen people forever.
So
but according to the Venetians, who thought that they were the protectors of Christendom, it applied particularly to them. So the promise is taken over to Venice. I will support you forever, and you'll be invincible.
So that is quite a nationalist setting of the words.
Absolutely.
So now if you add that...
But that is why, Robert, each one gets more intense. And to me, they get more and more gleeful. They're actually doing that.
So on top of this...
To our forefathers.
On top of this, at the full setting of those words, sicut locutus est,
yes.
You have this very brass-like...
You suddenly, you have to get to you're keeping on repeating in between each verse, the capellas are repeating sicut locutus est, but then of course you get to that verse eventually, and it's quite obvious from...
Where it's meant to come.
Well, yeah. Yes, where it's meant to come, and it's quite obvious that it's a tutti, an enormous great tutti with this sort of tune in it.
This
and
brass like martial trumpet-like.
Bom, 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 right. So that suggested a trumpet call to me. So add together the thing, the martial feeling of the whole thing, the trumpet-like nature of that phrase, plus the fact that there's a pause in there's a rest, half a bar's rest in all the parts, with a pause mark over each one and a double bar. And that seemed to me that something was done.